just started like that, yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of the School to Be podcast. This is an educative, informative, and online. Okay, let's go one more time. What did I say the other time that this is about? I said something. Okay. Hello and welcome to the School to Be podcast. This is an educational, fun and relatable podcast that explores the highs and lows of students' life. My name is Nana Grant, your host, and today I have a lady and a gentleman joining me for a very, very intriguing conversation. You know how a lot of students have this sentiment that school is fun and exciting, yet class is boring. And it's often framed in the pidgin language as school to be class they bored. So today I want to really find out from these individuals. They have been in school from primary, we have to start from crèche, right? So crèche, kindergarten, primary, high school, junior high school, senior high school, tertiary, and we just want to know, is school more fun and exciting than the classroom? If so, what makes the classroom boring? And what can be introduced into the classroom to make it more exciting? But of course, these are their personal experiences, so we're going to hear from them. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming my special guests with me today, Mawina and Kelly.
Wow.
Hi everybody.
Hi. Like fictional viewers. I mean, of course, they're not
Hi,
fictional.
fictional viewers.
They're not fictional. They are real. So, hi viewers.
Hi viewers.
Hi Mawina. It's been a minute.
It's been a long time. I think before we were trying to figure out like the last time we saw each other.
Last year, like July,
Ah.
August. It's been a year and some months.
And it
That's
feels like-
terrible.
I'm sorry.
So, Mawina, first of all, before we dive into the conversation, let us know the senior high school you attended and the tertiary institution you attended.
Okay, so I went to Ghana National College, not the one in the eastern region, the one in the central region.
Shade.
I mean, like every time I say I went to National, people say, is it the eastern one?
But that's
So,
Ghana's.
There's just one.
Okay.
So I went to National in Cape Coast and then went over to the Ghana Institute of Journalism, formerly known as GIJ, which is now the University of Media, Arts and Communications Institute of Journalism. So UNIMAC IJ for like 4 years to read Bachelor of Arts and Communication Studies Journalism option. So I got a diploma first, then I just topped up to get a bachelor's degree.
Of all these, I appreciate the fact that you can remember the full meaning of UNIMAC, because I watched an interview of a student.
Bro!
And they asked which institute. You said, oh, UNIMAC GIJ. But what's the full meaning of UNIMAC? And then the lady is like,
It's
So-
a struggle!
What's the full meaning again?
Let's
UNIMAC.
ask the lady.
We are no longer the Ghana Institute of Journalism. We are the University of Media, Arts and Communications Institute of Journalism. Depending on which institute you focus on, because we merged NAFTI, Ghana Institute of Languages, and then GIJ. So like there's the UNIMAC prefix for everybody else, and then if you're in NAFTI, it just goes as NAFTI. So UNIMAC NAFTI or UNIMAC Institute of Languages, so IL, and then UNIMAC IJ. I don't know why that happened.
You know, after listening to her explanation, I know for sure she went through the school and the school went through. She just wasn't one of those people walking around on campus. Definitely, she was very active on campus. So because knowing, the mentions of the three institutions, not a lot of people who belong to these institutions. So kudos to you.
I think it also came with what I was doing at the time. So
Okay.
in school, maybe a bit too early, but in school I was doing journalism as well. So like I
Like
had to
practicing
know
beyond
practicing.
studying,
Yes,
practicing.
I had to know. It's like people would ask me. So.
That tells you all you need to know. And we have the gentleman in our midst, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. We should cut. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, just for the record.
Okay, please, I'm coming.
Wait a minute.
Kelly's taking a
A few moments later.
So before the gentleman had to make all of us press pause for him to get his order, which we're all jumping on. I was introducing him. Hello, Kelly. Welcome.
Hi, Abena. It's nice to see you.
I'm super excited to see you. Honestly, I am. What have you been up to?
I've been finding my way in the work world and coming out as a fresh graduate and then having to go into a new space, meet new people, interact with people, try and then apply whatever you've learned throughout all your years in school. It's been quite an interesting experience. So
Was it everything you dreamed it would be?
no. Most of them it never is. And so it's been quite, I mean, with time, people try to find their way around these things, but like I said, it's an interesting journey, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, Kelly, so just like we did for Marina, we want to know the senior high school you attended and the tertiary institution.
Well, whenever I talk about this, I say I'm very fortunate because I went to the top schools. I went to the top schools in the country.
We know where this is going.
We went to Unimark, IJ, Bangwai. We are down with you. So from my high school, I went to the only senior high school in the country, Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, Presec, Legon. The only Presec in Ghana. I'm not even going to mind you. And then I continued to the premier university in the country, University of Ghana, where I studied political science and French and graduated with what?
First class.
Thank you so much.
I feel like it's not enough to say, first class because he was combining a lot. A lot of things. So I get why you would want all of us to know.
No, me, I wear it on my back.
A first class.
I wear it everywhere I go to because when I was learning and I had sleepless nights, people were not there.
But I think it's a good thing to project, especially when, these days on social media, everybody makes jokes about education and they say, they told us education is the key, but the padlock has been changed. All those funny comments, and how also people also say, when you go to the junction to buy coffee book, man, your degree, the paper is what years you'll be served with. And it's like, I earned a degree. If you think it's a paper, go and print it and see. It's not easy.
Like watering down like a first class. It's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
People are like, it's just a first class. It's not getting you anywhere. Like find connections.
And when it gets worse, when someone who earned a first class, I need to emphasize using the word "end" because the word hard for it. When someone who earned the first class posts on social media that they've not been able to find a job, say 3-4 years after school, and they want people to help them, and then
the bashing begins.
The agenda boys come out.
Like I get
somebody who got third class has a job, blah blah blah. But then one thing I've seen in this workspace I'm in is that first class really puts you ahead because you come and then a lot of employers are looking for first class students. It will shock you that is one of the things a lot of employers are looking for, because when you go to certain companies, one way you can get in is if you have a first class. There are certain companies, one way you can get in is if you go to a certain school. I know a certain law firm that only hires lawyers who went to a particular school. So if you didn't go to that school, you should know that you are not getting into that firm. And there are certain employers who are looking for first class students, right? Because already if you get a first class, it puts you ahead. It shows that you know how to manage your time well, you know how to take a lot of things at once, you know that you know how to sacrifice, you know how to work hard.
But there's the myth of first class students only know their books and they don't have a social life, they don't know how to network, they don't understand communication in the corporate world. There's all these comments
that's not always the case. There are exceptions to my mentor had a first class and he explained to me in a way that moves beyond certification. So employers sometimes, and not just employers, people in general sometimes are looking at beyond the class. It proves that this person within a period of 4 years while they were studying a particular program, respected the institution, respected themselves, respected the people that put trust in them to get into that institution, to commit to the course, to commit to assignments, to commit to projects, to commit to everything that encompasses not just getting a first class, I'm not undermining that, but to getting a degree in the first place. So you are showing whoever cares that you, if trusted with anything, like you did with your degree, you are going to stay committed to the course and get the job done. So if you think that, oh, I can just get a pass and then go away with it, an employer will be thinking, you had 4 years to redeem yourself. In that 4 years, again, no apologies to anybody who had a pass. Just saying, you had time to prove that you could do this course, you could study it, you could go to the extreme. Because when you're working for a company, like there are deadlines to meet, there are documents to prepare, there are things to be done. If you cannot commit to a course that you paid to study, how are you going to commit to something that I'm paying you to do? That's something smart. It's like, it's just the commitment.
So education is still key.
Definitely.
Very much.
Find your hustle.
Find your hustle. Well, my guests have introduced themselves. We have the Ghana National, the one I came with,
The Eastern one.
and the Unimark IJ students in the studio, Bawena. And we also have the Persecan in the building, the one at Lego.
Why are you mentioning
Atomic?
mention it to some dignity? You
Is it
said
6
your
or 7
Sunday.
or 8 again?
Yeah, it's 8 trophies
They
now.
have been denied.
Keep
So,
quiet.
so we have the Persecan in the building, and Coombe Premier University first class graduates, Kelly,
That's me.
and myself. I also attended Stranger Senior High School, the first of what? Too bad I don't know.
Don't
But the
push it,
first
don't
of
push
something.
it.
I don't push it. Let me not push it. But yes. So Stranger Senior High School proceeded to the Premier University, the University of Ghana. And so here we are today discussing the essence of education, especially in a time when a lot of interesting jobs that did not exist a decade ago exist now, and a lot of people are earning a living from these jobs, and sometimes they believe that, you know what, I could do away with my education, I don't really need that degree to excel in this job, and it even earns me more than those who have earned their degrees have. So that's the reason for this podcast, and that's why we're here today, to have a conversation. But also I love this phrase when I was in school they did class table, like any variation of drama or school drama that came with school they did class table, I'm just there. I'm just buying into it. But today let's delve deeper into it. School they did class table, and of course that's where we derive the name of the podcast from, School Day. So tell me, School Day class table, where do you stand? What's your perspective on this popular pidgin phrase?
First of all, I totally disagree. I totally disagree.
Why do you disagree?
I disagree because not too long ago I graduated from the University of Ghana, and I found myself missing lectures more than the school environment itself.
Really?
Somebody might look at me and say, this guy is very weird, but that's how I am. Right? I think 2 months after, I started feeling sad. I think that's what pushed me to start applying for masters quickly, because I really missed the classroom environment. Because all the time I was looking forward to going to class, hearing what the lecturer had to say, but I normally read ahead. And so you see that thing where you read ahead and then you know what the lecturer is coming to teach already. So the conversation, the lecture is happening, you are following, people are asking questions, you are contributing. That environment to me is so surreal. And tutorials as well, when you can express yourself and learn from other people. And people say I'm weird, but exams are the time.
I don't think it's
are the most.
I think we should give nerds credit.
First class.
And
No!
And also, this is like a typical high achiever syndrome. Like, high achievers are like, they always want to be in the space where you are learning, which is great.
I always look forward to exams. Like exams are
Ah,
my most
but when you
exciting
lost me,
period of the. I'm telling you, whenever it's time for exams, I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I don't know the questions that are coming, but I believe that I'm prepared enough to tackle them. So when the paper comes, and I don't know, it's just so exciting.
I mean,
It's so exciting.
I like the adrenaline
Mm-hmm.
that comes with. I've never liked seeing questions before sitting for an exam. Not because I thought I was too prepared, but when I see the question, I prepare. When I get there, I lose innovation. So there's no element of surprise. There's no critical thinking. There's no adrenaline pumping through my blood. I feel that way, but it happened once. I flew, never again. So I get that, but like, looking forward to an exam. No.
I'm so excited whenever like it's exam period. Or I don't know, but it's just nice to see yourself studying. You go and then even when everybody says that sometimes you may go and then you're not prepared for the questions that come. But then the fact that, like Marina said, you can think on your feet and then put something down and expect that whatever you've put down is correct enough. When
Okay, Kelly. Well,
so we're talking about exams.
yeah.
How I always
And you
look
find
forward
it
to
exciting.
Yeah, and also one thing about people in University of Ghana is whenever exam results come, nobody wants to check their MIS web. Everybody's so scared. But then I'm always excited to open. I'm just waiting to hear the course rep say, "Oh, results have come." I'm the first to open mine because I don't know. It comes with the expectation. You know you've put something that's worth it down, and you know the results you're expecting. And so I've never had to argue with the lecturer over my results before because I know what I put down, and whatever grade that comes, I know I deserved it, and I know why I got it. So school they be, class they bore. Class they be, school environment quite boring.
Ooh, so you are turning it, right? So
Yeah.
instead of saying school degree, you rather say class degree
Yeah.
and school degree. But also, every experience I've shared so far has been uni-based. Not about senior high school, because I think senior high school is more like there's a lot of excitement.
Okay, should I go,
You
Marina?
can just.
Okay, so with senior high school, I had a very interesting senior high school experience. I started as a day student before I became a boarder a few months down the line. And when I became a boarder, it was a new thing for me because like you are leaving home now for the first, even though it wasn't outside Accra, it was still in Accra. It was still new because you're now going to share a room with 20 other people from different backgrounds. You have to learn to sleep with the lights on, learn to sleep while other people are having conversation, learn to share a bathroom with only God knows how many number of people. And so it was quite a very tough thing for me to get used to because I remember there was a time, even visiting the washroom, it became, I think when I became a boarder, 2 months, I'm not even joking.
The internet should not hear these.
I never. But then as time went on, I started to loosen up a bit. And like I said with my university, I think I picked that thing up from senior high school. It was always the classroom that I found very interesting because I studied general arts and studied elective math, economics, geography and French. That's the difficult part of the arts section.
Yeah.
And it was always exciting to go and then learn about elective math because I had the idea that it was difficult. But then as I started, I realized that it became easier to grasp, easier to understand. And so with senior high school, even though I involved myself in extracurricular activities, I was part of the quiz writers and debaters team. I was also part of the drama team as well. And so it was nice to brainstorm with those sessions, which also felt like a classroom.
Yeah.
But as like going for entertainment, jamming here, going for basketball, I never went for intercom, not even once.
No. I mean, Kelly is, every point Kelly is making right now emphasize his idea that class is better. He will choose class over school. That's interesting. Mawida, let me hear from you. Are you also going to choose class?
I know mine is the opposite.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think
No. So high school is not a time that I like to reflect on a lot.
Was it that bad? Was it that bad of an experience in high school?
I think high school for me
Was it a change from moving from the comfort zone to live with strangers?
It wasn't. So much of my life, even before high school, I've been independent. But and yeah, like my voice is breaking a bit. High school for me was very challenging. It was a time I was learning. I was struggling a lot in high school. I was struggling with my self-confidence. I was struggling with self-worth. I was struggling with anxiety. I have anxiety, but it's not as glaring as it was in high school. In high school, during the period, I remember I didn't own a mirror the entire time in high school.
You didn't want to see your face?
I didn't want to see my face. It
Was it like an adolescent development thing? Because during your high school period as well, that's when you were also equally going through physical changes.
I don't know what it was, but it was just there.
Okay.
It was just there. So I found myself basking into other activities. Was I good in class? Yes. Did I reach my full potential? Because I gave myself reasons not to go past a certain bar.
Mm.
Remember, and for a long time I don't check my results. So one time out of the blue, my father says,
Wait a minute. High school, you've not checked your result. Did you post it to your parents?
"That's the point." See, I didn't even know how the system worked in high school. So I think it was since.
So you were a bit isolated.
How was it? Very. One time my father just goes, "Marina, why are your results?" I said, "Results came." So he goes on to check, and then I was first. I was like, really? And that was the first time in 3 years I checked my results. After that, I didn't check it again. But, so I did other things. I was in a regimental band. I played the clarinet. I still play the clarinet. I was in the Writers and Debaters Society. I think we agree on since we started. So I found myself doing a lot of things on campus, but I was not really there. So I was good in class, I was not there. One of the biggest regrets I have after stepping out of high school is I didn't form connections. I didn't form bonds. There's just like 3 people like I kept contact with after high school. And my class was hip, like A1, literature, music, French, government. Like all the people in the school who were people were in my class. But I was not there. I was absent most of the time because it was a period of I didn't even realize then that I had to discover who I was and find myself. So it was just a lot of lost time for me. Did I do well in class?
Have you been able to reconcile that experience to who you are now?
I am. Yes, I think it gave me like further transitioning. And one thing I've also learned along the way is where there is a multitude of the council, there's safety. So after stepping out of high school, I found a council, people to not just drag me out of the space that I was, but give me reason to not stay. There are different things. So like not just telling you, oh you're pretty, but like giving you other ways to know that you're pretty, to know that like if you got something, you deserved it. Not because like a stranger found you and thought you were like you merited it. So like I found a council that was to an extent I'm trying to rectify some of the mistakes that I had. So for instance, like 3 days ago, I remembered a colleague I have back in high school in my class that I didn't really talk to. And then she just comes to me and I'm like, where is she? So like I go through the rabbit hole on Google. I just have a name of this on my head, so like try to find her on Google, LinkedIn, nothing. I go on Instagram, I find her. And I reach out, I say, hey, we're mates back in high school, like literal classmates, but like we didn't talk a lot, but it just came to mind. I decided to check in. How are you doing? Strike that conversation. So these years are just trying to correct some of the mistakes that I made back in high school. So school they be class they go for high school, both of them they go quite amazing.
How about your tertiary experience?
Tertiary was a slightly less experience. So through first year, I still had that. Like I'll report to school if my lecture starts at 7. I'll get there at 7. It ends at 5. At 5, I'm out. I grab my bag, I'm out. People didn't even realize I was in class until I had to give one presentation. And then suddenly, who is this girl? But even with that, hi, yo, Charlie, you did? I did. Pick my bag, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But through second year, like I said, I found my counsel in the university. So my mentor, I found him in the university. I found colleagues that I could fall back on. But I wasn't so. See, when I tell people that I don't know anywhere in this Accra, and I had colleagues that would go, and I also think it's because in university I thought I could not balance a social life with an academic life. I had a friend that party every weekend in the university. She ended up with the first class. I went to class all the time. I left with the second upper. So like so it was still formative years. Finding my counsel, learning to trust this counsel that I have found, and learning to replicate the ideas that this counsel were giving me into my actions. I still don't have a social life, but it was a moment of learning for me. I opened up to a wider range of people. In high school, I left with like just 3 coursements. In the university, after like 280, not a good number, but it's an improvement. So school they be class they will. School they go. I don't want to feel towards Kelly's because you have like very different. You have like very different reasons why we are saying that.
Let's join the trail.
School they.
But class they be for you and school they be, except you have different reasons from group members. We'll get to them subsequently. But I honestly think school they be. I think class is boring. And no, not because I'm not a good student, but I find the environment and everything that is made up of very exciting. I love the fact that I could go back to the hall, or if it was senior high school, the dormitory, and find people engaging. I thrive in chaos, even though I am my own person, and because you find me in my little brother.
Yeah.
But then I love it when there's a lot of
Activities
happening around me, and so that's what for me made school exciting. And whenever there was fun, Abena was there. If Abena is not there, that place is not fun. I promise you.
I wasn't in any fun situation.
I was in fun situations, a lot of fun situations, and I love that. I remember my 3rd year in senior high school. So at the time, I had become deputy.
Entertainment perfect.
Hey, no. Deputy school prefect.
Look at you.
And we were having inter-halls here, and first year, second year. The reason I enjoyed inter-halls was because during the training period leading up to like the main event, this is in the school, like inter-halls, or the inter-houses rather, it's what we call it. Anyone who was part of the sports team was exempted from housework. And obviously, I don't want to do the housework.
Got lashed for getting
So
involved.
what I will do is I will join the sports team, but I'm not running. I'm not, what activity, throwing the shot puts or nothing. You know what I'm doing? I'm giving them a ride.
I knew it.
I'm part of the Jama, the core Jama team.
It's not fair.
And so I was always there. So first year, second year, I was there. And then eventually I became deputy head girl. And then I thought, composure. You need to be calm, keep it classy. And especially when the other 4 I was working with also had that very calm demeanor, which I do have that calm demeanor, except when I get in my element, I can do a little bold. And so I was sitting under the canopy where they assigned some prefects to sit, I was sitting there keeping calm, because prior to that, first year, second year, I'm encouraging everybody, you better, when you're coming back from home, bring your long, what's the name of the socks that footballers wear? The hose, bring your hose, make sure you buy new shorts, your white t-shirt, get your, and banana was a thing in my senior high school, and our house was like colored green, so everybody gets your colored green bandana when you're coming from home. Like I was the one leading everybody, like make sure you do this. And my family, I didn't do that because again, we're keeping it, cutesy, we're
Best
keeping it
life.
demure. And I remember sitting under that tent having a conversation with some of the prophets who were sitting there, and my house mistress pulls up. And she's like, Abena, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I explained the situation. She's like, your people need you. Look at them. They are so dull. Look at them. Go and join them. So I just had to go. And unfortunately that year, our sports team was losing because we lost most of our good, not lost, but then most of our good sports team members had graduated from school. So we had new faces and they were not doing so well. And if we are not winning in the athletic field, we need to win in the Java field.
Yeah, we must win something.
So I love that. So that was one part of it. Saturday entertainment, I would know this. I would be there. And it's not because I was doing anything actively. Did I do anything actively? Okay, so I was part of Intercom, yes, and handled a few programs here and there, and also like sort of an unofficial organizer for my house. Like everybody, everybody gets it moving, So I love that bit of it. So entertainment as well, I was very much represented over there. In my class was boring for me. I won't lie to you. I loved class. I loved my classmates, and we're still friends. Like all of us, we're still a very close knit group of people. Of course, I have my G's, but all of us, we're still close knit people. And I didn't really love class, but then I loved moments where there was no teacher in class, and there was a gentleman, Logan, wherever you are. Now, of course, I know where you are. But he was a very good writer. And he would come up with very interesting write-ups of how, the week went in the class, who did what, who said this, the bad moments, So he would write that. So the first time he wrote it, I was like, oh, this is very interesting. So, a little kind of, we were sitting, we were laughing about it. Then the second time he wrote it, I was like, no, this one, the whole class has to be involved. So we made it like a date, like every Friday, he would write up something. We just try and get people, what did you observe in the class, what did you see, and then we write something. But also we are not too specific on, say, Mawena did this. We'll use like nicknames, so you just have to figure out who we are describing. And then I'll come sitting in front of the class, and then I'll read, and then we'll all cheer because some of us could guess, the individuals involved. So that's what made class exciting for me. But for me, class was boring because when you're a good student and then you find yourself in an environment and you realize maybe I'm not the best after all.
It dawns when you're like with an
like maybe I'm not the best after
all the time.
But But I'm glad I had one particular subject in my corner. I had biology in my corner, like
you were
because I was a science student, so for my electives, biology. Abna would do well in biology, and that's what I was grateful to God for. But for every other elective, even for my course, I was struggling. Okay, the core that's everybody, I think everybody does well in social studies, right?
Yeah.
But for the other, I was still trying to find. I wasn't struggling you, but I thought I was going to be number one, and I was not number one all the time.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of, I had moments accepting the fact that you are not the best after all, because we had the best of the best in the class, and I'm so glad that I found myself in a class that had a lot of people.
I think school also provides that competitive ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you usually lax from where you're coming from because everybody knows you're going to do well. You're going to do well. So sometimes you get complacent. But you get into high school, you're meeting this new set of people from wherever background they're coming from. You think you are tough where you are, and then you get there. And this particular girl in my class, there were people that would just run around the entire thing. They make noise in the class. Contributions, they don't say anything, but results come and then they talk about it. And you're like, girl, I never saw you pick a book. What happened? So it also teaches you not to judge a book by its cover and all of that.
But my thing was, my class, everybody was serious. Like everybody was always reading, everybody was always. So I was that one person who was like, and listen. And then of course the boys also subside to listen up. But for most of the time, like the ladies, everybody was like very studious, paying attention to their books. It was like a routine. I could repeat the routines right now. From the hall, you wake up in the morning, they come to class, they study, go for dinner dining, come back to the class to study, go back to the hall, prepare for prayers, like I could tell what they were up to. And if I was in my home and somebody asked me, oh, this lady in your class who is a house to be, what's she up to right now? I can definitely tell where she was because I know I'll find her in the class studying.
I have like
So,
5 boys in my
Yeah,
class.
and also I'm very laid back with my studies. I'm like, it's a big deal, but it's not that much of a big deal. Like we can have a little bit of fun and still study. So when I see people going full on, going to the class, going to the library, I'm like, why this pressure?
You know, I don't like
You
the
know?
library. I don't like the library.
I eventually liked the library in uni because I was non-resident for the most part of my uni journey.
Okay.
And so the library was where I spent most of my time. Because of course after class you can go to your friend's room and relax, but sometimes you just know that they don't need you in the room that day. So the library became like a place where I could just rest during my uni days. But yeah, for me, school they be Charlie. I love class. It's good. And I encourage everyone watching to take their studies seriously. And then I graduated with a second APAL, and I even forced myself to go and do a graduate studies program. So like I very much love the classroom, but I am pro school DE. I'm just saying, let me put it out there. I am pro school DE. I think the school environment adds a lot of, elements to build you into a wholesome person as opposed to the bookworm or the nerd. Which is no offense to anyone.
Oh, I don't think it's as an offense at all.
Kelly and beyond.
Okay, so let me ask this. What was the fun moment for you in class or a fun memory from school? And which category would you place it? Is it class or school? So a fun memory.
Maybe I think my winner should go first.
No, no, but there was, of course, there'll be something that is stuck in your memory.
The fact that I'm taking this long to even come up
Should
with
be
one is very
fun.
troubling.
Fun
Fun.
moment.
Okay, let's put it in context. High school or university?
Any of them. Or you both,
Hmm.
if you choose.
Give me a minute. It's coming.
Well, I'm surprised none of you have like a fun moment. I have one ready. No, it isn't
You
one.
have
I
a
have a
ton.
lot. Very tall list.
Okay, maybe you should go first while we think.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Fun
Okay.
moment.
So obviously all the drama moments, top notch for me. I enjoyed all the drama sessions in school. That's like high school. Also high school, I loved entertainment. Who doesn't? And also I'm super grateful for the classmates I had. I love that as well. What else? Uni is what I can't come up with anything. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was like, well, how many years ago? Like,
Yeah, but I can't come up with any like exciting moments in you. Maybe Interhall. Interhall. What? No, it's not Interhall. What's that thing? The Hall
Hall
weeks.
week.
Okay, yeah, Hall week celebrations. I love Hall week celebrations. Fun. You don't have any fun memory from school.
My only fun memories are in the classroom.
Okay. Then maybe let's do this rather. A favorite class and what made it your favorite class?
Okay, my favorite class would have been gender and politics.
Okay.
And that was the only reason why it's my favorite because I think she gave us a research assignment.
The
and-
lecture?
Yeah, and I got the highest.
Christ. Oh boy.
I know I got the highest because I went round to make sure that
Oh my
You see,
god.
University of Ghana on Sakai, the grade book when they upload the